So this video is going to be my top toys from the 80s. I don't have any girl toys on here. I apologize. I did have a Cabbage Patch Kid, but I didn't include him. So I apologize. But don't get mad at me if there's no girls' toys. Anyway, this is my top 10. Make sure you leave some comments at the end. Let me know your list. I'm very interested to find out what you guys think. All right, here we go. At number 10, we have the Micro Machines. These things were so freaking cool. They were just these little cars and little play sets that you could just take everywhere with you. They were awesome. There's just so many of them. It was like you could keep collecting. It was great.
This is the Micro Machine Man presenting the most midget miniature motorcade of Micro Machines. Each one has dramatic details, terrific trim, precision paint jobs, plus incredible Micro Machine pocket playsets. There's a police station, fire station, restaurant, service station, and more. Perfect pocket portables to take any place. And there are many miniature playsets to play with, and each one comes with its own special edition Micro Machine vehicle and fun, fantastic features that miraculously move. Raise the boat lift at the airport marina, man the gun turret at the army base, clean your car at the car wash, raise the toll bridge. And these playsets fit together to form a Micro Machine world. Micro Machine pocket playsets, so tremendously tiny, so perfectly precise, so dazzlingly detailed, you'll want to pocket them all. Micro Machines and Micro Machine pocket playsets sold separately from Galoob. The smaller they are, the better they are.
I didn't have a ton of Micro Machines, but I did have the helicopters, the planes, the boats. I had the trucks. I had the cool little play sets. I remember there was one with a car wash, and it was really cool because you could just go in the car wash. I know I had the tank at some point. They were just fun. They were a lot of fun, and I know I could take them with me places. When I went to my grandma's house or my grandpa's house, it was always like, let's take the Micro Machines. We could just bring them with us and we were good to go. They were a lot of fun. At number 9, we have the Legend of the Lone Ranger action figures from the movie. There was a movie out in the 80s. The theme song will never leave your mind. There was a Lone Ranger figure, a Tonto figure, a General Custer figure, if I recall correctly. They were really good. It was a really good movie. I remember this movie. I went to the mall, the Smith Haven Mall in New York, and I saw this movie, and I was so impressed with the Lone Ranger and Tonto, and my parents let me go right over to KB Toys, or I was Toys R Us. It was one of the two, and I bought them, and I ended up getting Scout and Tonto, and I got Silver, and I got General Custer. I got everybody. They were such cool figures. They had the little, holsters on the side. They were fun. I kind of want to buy them again. They were just cool figures. At number 8, we have the Centurions. These guys were really freaking cool. They had these ecto-suits that they would have these futuristic weapons that would attach to them, and you can move them around and put them on each figure. They were just super, super freaking cool.
Jake Rockwell, Ace McCloud, and Doc Terror each sold separately.
Trouble up rubber, Jake! Energize the assault mode! Let's do it! I need this Doc Terror down! Centurions, take this! Energize the power mode! Bombs away! Fire! Now Doc Terror falls! Right, Jake? Right, Ace!
New Centurions, Jake Rockwell, Ace McCloud, and Doc Terror come as shown, each sold separately.
Yeah, I had these guys, and I have a seriously sad story with this. I had all of them, and my mother, we went shopping somewhere, and we took all of our characters with us, my brother and I, and we put them in a bag, and we left them in the back of the car. Well, us dumbasses, we never locked the car. So when we came out of Modell's, they were gone. So I was very sad, and I don't think I ever got them back, but I really did enjoy them when I had them. This guy here, I used to bring him in the pool and stuff because he was the water guy. So it was just, it was fun. They were fun. At number 7, we have the A-Team figures. Now, there's a lot of different A-Team figures at the time, but these ones that were the dolls, these ones were freaking awesome. And I had them all with BA's truck, and they were just kick-ass. These were freaking so cool.
They're the A-Team. You know they're soldiers of fortune. They're the A-Team. Helping people in need. You can pretend that you're Hannibal, Murdoch, or Face, or maybe B.A. Baracus. You know each one is an ace. Each is sold separately with rifle and gear. If there's trouble to face, you know the A-Team's here. They're the A-Team. The A-Team, Murdoch, Hannibal, Face, and B.A. Baracus. Each is sold separately by Galoob.
Wouldn't it be cool now if you got figures that came with the accessories the way these 18 figures did? I mean, Amy came with so many different things. She had the video recorder, she had the headphones. I remember Hannibal had the M60 machine gun. Face had the Uzi. BA had the wire clippers. Murdoch had the hook. They came with so many freaking cool accessories. And I remember the Sears catalog. My mother let me order all of them. I'm beginning to think my mom had us a little bit spoiled because I had everything. And I miss those days. At number 6, of course, you have He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I mean, you can't have an 80s list without He-Man. He-Man was freaking awesome. And then you had She-Ra for the girls. He-Man had so many different action figures, and the cartoon was addicting as hell.
What do we have here?
It's Castle Grayskull. And it's mine. Not so fast, Beastman. He-Man!
You can pit He-Man against Beastman playing for the power of Castle Grayskull. You have to put the castle together. Beastman's escaping.
The throne, Dad. Dad, you saved the castle.
Castle Grayskull from the Masters of the Universe collection. He-Man and Beastman each sold separately from Mattel.
I wish I still had my He-Man figures. I know there's so many remakes out, but I wish I had my original Castle Grayskull and my original Skeletor. I had Teela and Man-at-Arms and He-Man, of course, all the different He-Mans. Beastman. Two-Face, I think, was his name. What was his name? Faker. Two-Face. Two-Face is from Batman. Faker, which is the fake He-Man. There was just so many cool He-Man figures, and I mean, they're all being remade now, so you can get them in remakes, which is pretty cool. So at number 5, we have the WWE, at that time, the WWF action figures. Now, these guys were made of rubber, and they were very, very thick. I mean, you could take one of these guys and throw them at somebody, and it would freaking hurt them majorly. And I'm only speaking from experience.
Big match at my house. I'll bring my guys. You have yours. I've got Junkyard Dog.
It's World Wrestling Federation Superstars.
I've got Brutus Beefcake. Here's George the Animal Steel. I've got Great Hammer Valentine. Ricky the Dragon Steel.
They're so real.
And Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Can you tell the difference? Wrestling Superstars. They're for real. Each sold separately from LJN. Yeah!
I had quite a bit of them. I had the Macho Man. I had Rowdy Piper. I had Hulk Hogan. I think I had Greg the Hammer Valentine, Big John Studd. I mean, they were the in thing back in the 80s. Like everybody, Mr. T, Hulk Hogan, you know, it was a big ordeal. And everybody had these wrestlers. And if you weren't into wrestling, that was kind of a weird thing because everybody was into wrestling. And if you weren't, very cool. But I was definitely into it. I remember Andre the Giant. I had a lot of fun with all that. So at number 4, we had the GoButts. Yeah, the GoButts were kind of a ripoff of the Transformers, much smaller, much cheaper, and I had a hell of a lot more of them than I did Transformers. So they definitely make my list.
They appear to be mighty robots, but you change them into mighty vehicles. GoBots and Super GoBots, each sold separately.
GoBots, 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 mighty robots, mighty vehicles, GoBots. GoBots and Super GoBots, Destroyer, Sidekill, and Leader 1, each sold separately from Tom.
So yeah, the GoButts were kind of the cheap man's Transformers. And though I had quite a bit of toys as a kid, the GoButts were like some of my favorites. I had an awful lot of them. They were very easy to find. You can go to Modell's, you can go to KB, you could go to Toys R Us. They were always there, and they were cheap. So my parents were never like, "Oh no, you can't have them." So I ended up having quite a bit of them. And the plane was my favorite. The plane was definitely my favorite. I kind of miss them. I'm sure they're going pretty cheap right now, but I don't have any. So at number 3, we have my favorite, Voltron. I love Voltron. Just completely love it. And there were so many different versions of Voltron. So we're going to go over those really quick.
Enter the world of Voltron, where thrilling adventures let you soar beyond the limits of your imagination. the valiant Voltron force merges together in their robotic alliance to challenge the might of King Zarkon's demonic minions and menacing machines. You can join this never-ending battle between the army of evil and the champions of justice, with the fate of planet Aris and the entire universe at stake. Voltron action figures, lions, and vehicles each sold separately from Panache Place.
So Voltron, they had these figures that you can see here. There was this version where you could sit in the lion, which was really cool. I had those too, and then I think there was the Cars one too at some point. But this was a really cool one. This other one here is the die-cast metal one. My parents got me some knockoff at a flea market in New York because I was born in New York, and it was my favorite toy at the time, and I wish I still had it. But it's cool though because Target had exclusives, and I went out and got those. So we'll be doing a video on that very soon. At number 2, of course, we have G.I. Joe. I'm not gonna lie, this was a tough one. 2 and 1. I had a hard time with this one, but I had to put them as 2 because my love for 1 just outweighs 2.
It's snake stomping season, and we're going hunting with a G.I. Joe Raider. Nobody beats G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe Raider. The Raiders got a mess of missiles, and they're all pointed at you, Cobra. But nobody beats G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe.
What do you say about G.I. Joe? They were pretty much the 80s. And if you know me and you watch my channel, you know I collect G.I. Joe Classified. They're my all-time favorite. They had all these cool vehicles. They had so many different figures. You could just get them. I remember the excitement running into Toys R Us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who's he? Who do they have? Who do they have? Who do they have? And then I would just buy like 3 of them. I had a really cool mom and dad. They let me get a lot of stuff. Man, I love G.I. Joe. At number 1, it should be no shock, the Kenner Star Wars figures. They were my favorite. I had as many as you could possibly think of, and anybody my age probably had them. They were freaking awesome.
That's Slave 1 with frozen Han Solo. And this is Hot Wampa, the snow beast with Tonton from the Ice Planet. Remember, parents, there's only one Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back.
So Star Wars was like just freaking awesome. And to get this Millennium Falcon, oh my gosh, I drove my aunt crazy for this thing. She went to Toys R Us, got it for me for Christmas, and still tells me the story to this day, how she had to fight another old lady to get this toy. It was worth it. It was worth every bit of it because it was freaking awesome. It had everything from the movie in it. Kenner did such a good job. Their figures, if you look at the Black Series now and you look at the old Kenner figures, they just don't even match up. But it was a different time. Like Luke, when they first had Luke and Darth Vader, like they had the sliding lightsabers in their wrists. And then they had this version of Luke, which I remember having at my grandparents' house. And he had the yellow saber, even though he had a blue saber. But they've come a long way. But these Kenner figures, they pushed us into where we're at. And I have nothing but love for Star Wars and their action figures. And that's my top 10.